Welcome to the famous West Village. Such a wonderful, quaint neighborhood. Still has big city energy, but also feels calm. I love walking through this neighborhood, especially during the late fall here in November season. Something about the pre-sunset light is just absolutely gorgeous. So let's walk around here in the West Village, see what's happening. I'm right now in the little cozy park called St. Luke's in the Field. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where we're watching from. This is a live stream where we're walking right now through New York City. It looks very chilly, says Justine. It is. With the wind, it feels like it's 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Hello, Gwen. Hello, Ray Ray. Hello, Ida. Nice to see you here. Welcome. So beautiful little quaint park here, kind of hidden. And it's a great place to have a lunch as well if you're walking around this area. And the benches have beautiful quotes. Trees are the earth's endless effort to speak to the listening heaven. Keep a green tree in your heart, and perhaps a singing bird will come. Oh, I love that. Great quotes at the benches. I love that there's a table here to sit down, relax. I've come to this park many times. Hello, Joseph from Jersey. Welcome. And the park has extended. It used to be closed over here in this section. Because right next door is a functioning school. It's actually one of the more exclusive schools, I think. Private schools for elementary in this neighborhood, West Village. Matt, nice to see you here. Matt is watching from the water. Hey, Matt, nice to see you here. In one of the stars I shall be living. James W. Edwards. Imagine the school has their sports facilities up there in this rooftop. You can notice net to prevent any loose balls coming down, hitting pedestrians' heads. This is in loving memory of James Michael DeAngelis. Oh, I hear a blue jay. Somewhere up there, yeah. Oh, there he is. We got a blue jay up there. Oh, there he is. So beautiful. I love blue jays. One of my favorite birds. Until you have a lot of them in your right next to your home. They're very loud, though. S. Fields says, thrilled to catch you live. Oh, I'm so glad, S. Fields. I want to learn how to become a bird whisperer so I can summon them for these live videos. I mean, that would be really cool. Let me know if anyone is trained in those arts. Maybe I should do a vlog series of hanging out with bird experts to try to see how to make friends with them. Because it would be so cool to show you blue jays up close in person during a live video. Right there is a squirrel. Gino Man says, beautiful grove you found. Yeah, this is called St. Luke's in the Field. I'll show you the nearby intersection because now we need to continue on to the West Village. Yvette says, you look like you're freezing. I am freezing. I got 4 layers on. Do not be deterred by the New Yorkers that you see wearing maybe 1 layer, a coat, or like 2 layers, a shirt and a coat, and no hat, no gloves, no scarf. Don't be deterred because those are just the crazy New Yorkers out there. I mean, there's a lot of them. I have no idea how they do it. So this is the corner of Barrow Street and Hudson. Barrow and Hudson was St. Luke's in the Field. Hey, BX girl, nice to see you here. Hello, Nicole. And this was the entrance to St. Luke's in the Fields Park Garden. It's right by the Episcopal Church, right down there. And let's go down here. Hey, Tracy says, I'm heading to New York in January. What is the weather usually like? Freezing. I mean, January and February are both the coldest months in New York City. And it gets really cold in New York. Unless if you're from the Midwest, Canada, or Siberia, or Scandinavia, you're probably not used to the cold. So it will shock you. It gets as low as, usually it's around high 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is brisk, sometimes bone-chilling cold depending on the humidity. So I would recommend bringing many layers. Do not bring just one gigantic layer like a gigantic coat, but bring multiple layers so you can put them on and take them off as needed. So sometimes in New York it might be 25 degrees Fahrenheit and the next day it might be more like 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's a difference. So do layer. I recommend buying thermals. So I recommend buying thermals, which are basically very thin t-shirts and thin underwear that provides a lot of warmth. They're usually made out of synthetic materials. And they're very good because they're super, super thin. And it'll keep you really warm, so you don't need to get too bulky with too much layers. And the best ones I buy here in the US, and you might find them in England, UK, or Japan. There might be a few other countries in the world that has this shop. It's called Uniqlo. And that, in my opinion, is the best thermals that you can buy. If you're American, you probably know them as Long Johns as well. And there might be other companies. Let me know, what's your favorite thermals out there? I love Uniqlo, personally. Wow, look at the light of downtown Manhattan right there in the distance. Woo! Beautiful. Hello, Ariel. Nice to see you here. Just because I was there last February, really glad for my thermals. Yeah, I'm glad you brought thermals. I only started wearing them about 1 year ago. I did not wear them before 1 year, and wow, they are a godsend. So this is a historic building over here. This is one of the earlier public schools built. It's PS3, public school number 3. And it says, on September 10th, 1824, the Marquis de Lafayette, Major General in the American Army during the War of the Revolution, visited public school number 3, which was selected as the best example of the public school system established by the Free School Society of the City of New York. In this memory is the tablet erected by the pupils of this school under the direction of the Board of Education in 1911. So, the cool thing about the U.S. is one of the very system. It's one of the earlier public school systems ever made in history. And the Marquis de Lafayette came over here. Yep, that same Lafayette as featured in the musical Hamilton. SVL says thermals keep you warm without making you sweaty. Yes. So another pro tip is to wear, you got your thermals, but if you want to wear a jacket, to avoid getting too sweaty, I would recommend quite the opposite. Rather than synthetic material, get yourself as organic of a material you can. Wools, usually wool. Go for wool would be my number one. Right now I'm wearing a unique hat, but it's made out of wool, but dyed from goats. It's a beanie from Drake's of London. And it keeps you warm without making you sweaty because natural wool actually breathes. And there's other fabrics out there like alpaca and cotton, but cotton is not quite the best for winter. Yeah, I would recommend that for a jacket. Lorraine says, I realize that men's thermals are made better than women's. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, everyone. Right now, I'm right by a very famous house, a very famous apartment building. Let me know if you know where it is. You just caught a glimpse of it. But before I tell you about this apartment building, I have to announce that I have a new ebook guide, my first ever official guide to New York City that you can access via your phone with integrated maps, and soon there'll be integrated audio, is available now for pre-order. The full guide is already written up, so there's a special price because the audio portion is going to be integrated soon with extra places mentioned and an extra section about clothing, because people ask me frequently about clothing recommendations during the time of season. So if you want to get the special pre-order price at $29.99, you can get yourself this guide, write !guide right now in the comments, and you'll get the link here on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, if Kay can grab the link and post it, I'll appreciate it. I'll make a better link very, very soon. But right now, you can get yourself first dibs on the official guide to New York City. December 1st, the price increases to $49.99. It's in depth. There's a lot of recommendations right now, upwards of 65, 70 places where I recommend food, attractions, the best observation deck to visit, the best neighborhoods to go to that are outside of Manhattan. I provide a perfect itinerary to a day in Midtown Manhattan. It's not your typical tour guidebook stuff that you see in the major books available in most bookstores around the world. No, I go a little bit more urbanist style, so you can go and check that out. Ron says we'll include a coffee stain. It is right now digital only. If it proves to be popular and people love it, I will figure out a way to do a printed version with more photographs. So check it out. All right, now what are we in? Nicole says, that's awesome, Ariel. I'll get the guide. That's amazing. I'm so glad you'll enjoy the guide, Nicole. So right here we have the Friends apartment building. Look at that. Beautiful lighting too, with the reflection on the windows, because everyone has their blinds closed. So it's actually perfect timing right now. Just Kate says best benches. You know, best benches is a bit harder to remember. I need eventually I will get a assistant that will note down all the benches I visited, because those are a little bit harder to remember. Frost says, I now understand why I've missed you live. It's 12 a.m. for me. Oh my God. Sally says, how you been? I'm doing well. Been writing the guide, in-depth guide to New York City. I'm gonna post it right here, right now. Ariel, I'm in awe of everything you're doing and your success. Thank you so much, S. Fields. That's amazing. That's great to hear. What time is it here? About 4:21 p.m. right now. I love the cafe in red. Yeah, the Little Owl. I've never been to the Little Owl, but it does look intriguing. It looks like a great place to visit. It's very full at night. So if you want to check out this little cafe, I'll look into it later and see how it is. I would recommend going during the daytime. Seems a bit more chill. MUF says, why not walk around Brownsville? Brownsville has certainly some very interesting history. There are certain areas where it's not as calm to walk around with the camera talking for an hour to 2 hours. So that's why I don't do certain neighborhoods. Becoming Human says, can you explain the difference between twin flames and soulmates? Becoming Human, feel free to ask anything about cities or about travel today. Those topics are usually for the month philosophical chat. Stay tuned. I will be doing a Q&A about the guide soon, potentially this weekend. Stay tuned. I'll announce it. Claire says, when's your next philosophical chat? First Friday of December at night after the regularly scheduled live stream. And then soon, this weekend, there will be a special Q&A about the special guide that I just posted. So stay tuned. It combines not just 60 years of in-depth history, research, and an experience of trying the best food and attractions and museums and observation decks here in New York City, but also being a lifetime New Yorker. I've been here my entire life, so I know the city from the back of my hand. And if you want to have all those 60 years of experience combined into a small guide that you can use from your own phone, carry it with you with maps integrated, that's where to go. Otherwise, you can watch the videos for free. It's up to you. Obviously, I post them for free on purpose. Clara says, what time on December 2nd? I will announce it, but most likely, I would say 9 p.m. Wow, I love the houses here. Beautiful. Peek into Korea. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for, there was a couple taking photos, so I'm kind of waiting for them to get away from the door. Oh, this house is under construction right now. Ben says, I love the green shutters and brick. Yeah. It is quite breathtaking. And this one's called Grove Court. All around the West Village, you can find these tiny little courts. There's, I would say there's at least a handful of them. There might be up to 10 or 12 of them. If anyone knows the exact number, do let us know. They're hard to get in. If you're lucky and the door's open and there's no sign that says do not enter, then respectfully enter and check it out. Do any of them have historic placards showing them where they were built? Here, POV, you know, we're not like London where we have the blue plaques where it shows where people lived officially designated by the city. We don't have that. We have landmarks, and landmarks will have plaques. But of course, there's a lot more blue plaques in London, for example. And then some houses decide to put their own plaque. And that doesn't happen that often. So yeah, sometimes you will, but it's not as frequent as London. There used to be graffiti here of Friends quotes, but then they put this sign: no graffiti, violators will be prosecuted. It says, saludos, great urbanist. Oh, saludos, Ed. Hey, Flying Squirrel, nice to see you here. Janice, welcome. Love watching you on the big screen. It feels like I'm beside you. Greens from Ireland. Hey, that's so cool that you're watching from Ireland. And Marie, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Moustache. I haven't been here in a while. I've recommended this place before. They have like Arab style, Middle Eastern style pizzas. Bonsoir, mes amis. Hello, Naboul. Welcome. Wow, they changed it. This used to be a historic bar called Chumley's. And I'm a bit bummed because they are modernizing the interior. So right here was a speakeasy. Recently it was called Chumley's, but before it had a different name. This is one of the older speakeasies in New York City. Speakeasy means his secret cocktail bar. Now this one is very famous for one particular reason, because there's an American expression that goes by 86 'em, which means get the fuck out of here, basically. To be blunt, that's what it means. Get the F out of here, or get him the F out of here. That comes from here, this speakeasy, because it used to be illegal to drink during the 1920s. And the cops would do regular raids to these places. Ironically, the cops also drank in some of these places, but they will also do raids. Shh, we don't need to talk about that. So the cops would raid over here, and the entrance was here in the side, something along those lines. It was on the side, and whenever the cops would raid, they would say 86, 86 it, 86 it. So they would come out the other entrance, it being 86. Right here, 86. There is a courtyard in the back. We can't see it. I am Catchy says, are you watching a rerun? I am Catchy on Twitch. Yes, you are. I'm glad you tuned in from the future. I do appreciate it. I knew you were going to tune in due to my developed power of foresight. So thank you so much for tuning in. Did the cops ever figure out the other exit? Ron, that is a good question. I'm telling the story off the top of my head, so some details I don't remember right now. If you want to check it out, search Haunted Greenwich Village. I have a tour that explains the ghost stories also of this bar. But in essence, the cops raided as more of a show than with the intention of shutting it down. Thing is, Prohibition wasn't that popular, including here in New York City, where New York City's own mayor, Jimmy Walker at the time, actually went out and drank himself. One of the police headquarters, located in Nolita, which I've shown before, check out my tours of Nikola Tesla Urbanist, or check out my tour of the mafia history of Little Italy. You'll see this huge building, the police headquarters, used to have a secret tunnel also going to a speakeasy. So even the top dogs in the police department would go out drinking. So in order to kind of show that they're enforcing the law, they would raid these speakeasies, which they knew were speakeasies. And there was an understanding with the bartender or the owner that they were going to raid usually at so-and-so time. So when they came raiding, the bartender somehow knew ahead of time, meaning he was tipped off, and that's why he would scream 86 it, 86 it. So yeah, that's why the cops raided, but it wasn't the intention wasn't to shut it down. Sally says, is it an interactive guide? Yes, the guide is interactive, where there's maps, and then soon there will be audio integrated. So right now is the pre-order at a special price, but soon there will be audio portions as well. And yeah, it is online only. You have to access it with your phone. Din asks, are speakeasies legal? Speakeasies are legal if they're a legal bar with a license to sell alcoholic drinks, liquor, wine, beer. If they don't have that license, and if they're not licensed as a bar, they can be shut down. So yes, you can make a secret cocktail bar, but it still does have to be licensed, has to be in the books, has to be official business. If it isn't, yeah, it could be shut down. Oleg says, so 86 means get out, and 69 means thank you. 69 means something else. I gotta learn the origins of 69. So here's the Cherry Lane Theater. It's one of the oldest theaters in all of New York City. Just Kate says, not too many people here. Yeah, you know, there's always people walking around in the West Village, but it won't have the hustle and bustle of Midtown Manhattan. Hey, Susie, hello. On Twitch, thank you so much for tuning in. We have a few Twitchers tuning in. Let's see the history of this. Is there a show? Usually there's a show. I'm surprised there's no show today. Hey, Bruno Bear, nice to see you here. It's very hard to get a New York State liquor license for an NYC address, says EBX Girl. Ah, interesting. I have noticed some places getting shut down because it has been found that they didn't have an official license. Yes, it has happened. Imagine living here. Wow. Immensely gorgeous. Dutch Dude says, what do you think is the best theater in New York? You know, that's a great question. Movie theater, in my opinion, is the Alamo Drafthouse in Lower Manhattan. When it comes to Broadway theater, I don't know. I love the haunted history of the New Amsterdam Theater, just for the history. And also they have a cool exhibition of what was called the Follies. And for off-Broadway, it's a bit tough, but this one also for the historic value is very interesting. So I would recommend the Cherry Lane. I would also recommend the Metropolitan Opera. This Metropolitan Opera is stunning. Truly stunning. So if you can go to any show in New York City, go to the Metropolitan Opera. During Christmas time, go and see Mozart's Magic Flute. So here is 38 Commerce Street, which is the Cherry Lane Theater. This is in 1924, Edna St. Vincent Millay and a group of theater artists converted a box factory into what would become the Cherry Lane Theater. Through the years, it has become a showcase for the early works of Edward Albee, Lanford Wilson, Harold Printer, and Sam Shepard, and continues to nurture emerging artists. Acclaimed actress Kim Hunter lived above the theater with her playwright husband, Robert Emmett. From 1954 until her death, best known for creating the role of Stella in the Broadway and film version of A Streetcar Named Desire. Ah, fascinating. It says, New York Times quote, it says, it still remains a Greenwich Village paradox that the smallest stage in town is asked to accommodate no end of enthusiastic performers. I hope it reopens. It used to be a former box factory. That's fascinating. And there were more popular names that were here. I'm surprised they didn't name the more popular ones because I think Eugene O'Neill is also involved in this theater. Esfield says, wow, interesting. Yeah, it truly is interesting. Who you, brother Bear asks, how old is she? Kim Hunter passed away already, but she lived a long life apparently. So here are the plaques that I mentioned. Well, you will find them. They are not officiated apparently by the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission, but they are plaques either from a local neighborhood association or even the building themselves. So we have 36 Commerce Street, and this plaque is made by Bedford Borough Commerce Block Association 2000. So you can tell that this is not an official plaque, at least not officiated by any government. This three-story brick house was built in 1841 for Alexander McCallan, the owner of a brewery at number 38. The land originally was part of the Hendrix Gomez property. In the 1920s, when the brewery became the Cherry Lane Theater, this house was part of an artist and writer community that included the houses on the south side of Commerce Street, and to the theater, the West Bedford through number 73. These houses shared a rear courtyard, and usually these talk about the architecture. This house is beautifully preserved. Oh, nice. Great new windows it has. Her POV says, great info. Thank you for reading. My pleasure. I'm very curious about this house. I never looked into it, but judging by the wood frame, this house has to be pushing 1890s. Or maybe earlier. This house could even predate the 1850s. Abbo says, what street is this? This is Bedford Avenue and Commerce Street. Bedford and Commerce, that's the intersection. Photos from New York, 35 Commerce Street was the address. Oh, so it's brick facing in the front. Look at this. I love the restaurants here in New York City. So many great restaurants. Let me wait for the cars to pass. Ooh, this one's in the Michelin Guide. Whenever you're in New York City or basically anywhere around the world, pay attention to these plaques, or stickers in this case. These stickers mean that this was part of the Michelin Guide. Michelin Guide is known as one of the most renowned food guides that there is in the world. So they're very particular. And I would trust a restaurant that was in the guide. For example, this was just in the guide. Sometimes they have a Michelin star as well, or 2 or 3 stars too. SVL says, from people wearing gloves and from people wearing shorts to gloves this weekend. Yes. Penajota says that means it's a good restaurant. It really is. Yeah. Cynthia says, which place is that? It said home cooking. Didn't get the name. Let's see, it's called Casa at Commerce Street in Bedford. Casa, Tiffany, C-A-S-A, Casa. And someone said, does it always mean that's expensive? No, not necessarily. Sometimes you find good deals. Here in New York, a restaurant in the Michelin Guide tends to be expensive. But if you go to other cities, which I've showcased, especially in France or in Italy, they are not too expensive. Luxor says, Casa Brasil, it is a delicious Brazilian restaurant. Glad. Flying Squirrel says that was a cutesy store. Yeah, you'll find cutesy boutiques here in the West Village. Oh, here's another beautiful restaurant. I love the look of the restaurant. Really gorgeous restaurants in this neighborhood. Ben says lots of chains in New York too. Yes, lots of chains in New York. And in the New York City Guide, there will be a section of the best chains to visit in New York City, because there are certain restaurants that are easy to go to in a whenever you're in the rush, whenever you just want something quick. There are certain restaurants that or fast food places you'll see everywhere. And no, I'm not talking about McDonald's, nor even Five Guys. I'm talking about places a little bit better than that. So right down there we see the One World Trade Center in the distance. Hudson Square is the next neighborhood up as well. Cynthia says, I love how the West Village is not always crowded. No, it's not always crowded. That's the great thing. Susie says, did we pass by a lingerie shop? No, that shop was just a regular clothing boutique store. All right, let's see what's up here. So now we're approaching Bleecker Street. This is not Bleecker Street, it's Borden. Next street is Bleecker, the intersecting one. It is windy today. Ooh. Windy, cold, dark, gloomy. I'm not sure what happened to this donut store. It has been closed for a while, the Donut Project. Here's a restaurant I haven't been to yet, but it is popular. It's called Lenya. Ooh, apple cider donuts. Oh no. That's why. This used to be open all day long. All the way until night. You can grab a donut at 7 p.m., but no. They're selling until sold out until 2 p.m. What is that? Wednesday through Sunday. What is that? And this is happening with other donut shops. My favorite place, Donut Plant, now closes also like at 4 p.m. It's very early. I like my donuts late at night, in the evening, like a good New York City cop in the 1970s. It's such a shame that these donut shops are now closing early. Let me know what's happening. What's happening with donuts in New York? Bruh says no donut November. that's how it's feel liking. No donut November indeed. Maybe increased cost of ingredients and increased demand, says Flying Squirrel. Maybe, yeah, that probably is the most reasonable explanation. Joe says midnight donuts are the best. Yeah, midnight donuts, they're a lot harder to find unless if you go to Dunkin' Donuts. A few of them that are open at midnight. Wow. These are nice desserts. Marron pastry. Music was too loud in there, so next place. Sally says, have you ever done a live from the Thanksgiving Day parade? No, because I spend it with family. Ooh, this is an old school sandwich shop. I'm gonna be a little bit silent. Let me show you. So if you want classic Italian American sandwiches, this is a great place to go. Facio's. Do let me know how to pronounce it in proper Italian. Or faccio. Faccio. I'm not sure. but it's really good, really good. Great sandwiches. You can get here a good meatball parm, chicken parm as well. I think they have chicken parm, but they definitely have the other classic Italian sandwiches with the cold cuts, the melted cheese. Right next door is a really good cheese shop, Murray's. Really good place for a quick cheese. Be sure not to eat too much cheese, otherwise you'll be cutting the cheese. And right next door is mac and cheese. I love that, mac and cheese. Bruh says, why is it so empty? It seems so empty on a Friday. It's a residential area. I mean, well, now we're in a more popular street, but it is cold. I think that's maybe one of the reasons you might see it as empty, but as a New Yorker, this is fairly normal. If you want to see really a lot of hustle and bustle, you really do have to come on Saturday to this particular street. Here's another great, a classic Italian place to grab a cookie. Rocco's. Flying Squirrel says it's also very windy today. Yeah, it is. Daniel says, I have a lot of good food in my streams. I do. I will feature some food soon. Again. Cynthia says, a lot of people left for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is next week. So yeah, some people might take off a week before, but generally Wednesday, that Wednesday before Thanksgiving also tends to be pretty quiet. Unless if you go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. That's madness. Here's Our Lady of Pompeii. Let's take a quick glance inside. I've been here many times. Oh, someone's playing side. So yeah, there was some side stop playing I had to mute for a little bit. Yeah, this is Our Lady of Pompeii Church. Now we're transitioning to Greenwich Village. Fortunately, there seemed to have been a mentally unstable man inside. Very rare to see someone mentally unstable in the church and homeless. It is good that they're in the church. That's a nice step, I would say. But yeah, that was Our Lady of Pompeii Church. It was opened up by Father Demo many decades ago. And Father Demo was excommunicated from the Catholic Church back in Italy, nearby Pompeii, because he apparently was a Satanist. He was he was against Christ. He was against the Catholic Church. And then when he came here, he decided to seek redemption, forgiveness. And he decided to build a church in the honor of the church he grew up nearby, Our Lady of Pompeii, in Pompeii. So this is almost a near recreation of that church in Pompeii, which I did pass by when I did a live video. Or I didn't do a live video, but I was walking by back in 2019 when I went to Naples and Pompeii. And the square right in front is called Father Demos Square in his honor. Wendy says, a whole mattress on the street. Yes, never trust a mattress on the street. Never trust any type of furniture on the street. I know some people might go through hard times, and sometimes it might be very tempting to grab a piece of furniture on the street. I would say don't do it, because unfortunately there is a epidemic of bed bugs here in New York City, and you never know. You never know. There's a chance, especially if it looks new. Yeah, there's an unfortunate chance that it got caught up with bed bugs and they just decided to throw it away. Yeah, I won't even get close to it. Don't even touch it. If you're a young kid, teenager, goes out in the city, don't fool around with your friends and hop on furniture in the middle of the street. Don't do it. You won't be happy the next day. Birdseye says, why do I always see trash bags in the street? That's how we throw away the trash. That's how trash works here in New York City. Put it out on the street. It's collected, usually daily. Mary says, it's easy to tell if something has bed bugs. Yeah. Here's Venki, great chocolate store from Italy. I love them. They also have great gelato too. I've tried them many times on live videos. Great chocolate. Frost says, I don't see bus stops. We have not walked through the major avenues. Buses, unlike in London, tend to be centered around the major avenues. There's not that many buses off the major avenues on the streets. Denial says, wait, Venki is in New York? It is. It is in New York. This is a really cool little thing. So, of course, every few years or so, they have to re-asphalt these sidewalks. So here, sometimes little kids put their signature on these sidewalks, or they put their handprints. But in this case, it was a pigeon, or various pigeons. It was all on the wet concrete and the solidified. Flying Squirrel says pigeons. Oh, yeah. Hector says, ain't New York City dangerous? For example, back in 1990, the last statistic I heard, there was over 100,000 robberies in 1 year back in 1990. Compared to today, there's about 10,000 or so. So it is significantly more safer than it even was 30 years ago, significantly. However, there has been a small uptick compared to 2019 pre-pandemic. And for example, there was a group of 3 guys right in front of the pizzeria that is right behind me. I'm not going to point the camera too much at them, but they're being loud, and you can see that they're rough guys. Practice street smarts. Do not usually stand too close if you get a bad feeling from anyone. Just go around the corner, go somewhere else. That's close by a pizza shop. It was in front of Joe's. If you see a rough character, then go to another pizzeria. That's okay. So yeah, practice some street smarts. That's what's most important here in New York City. So right here we have what they're doing for Christmas trees. They're already going to start selling them soon. Cynthia says, stay vigilant, know your surroundings, you'll be okay. Yes, it's fairly safe. It's definitely safer than many cities around the world. It definitely feels much safer than the majority of cities around the world. Of course, I came from super safe cities when I did my live videos, so Denmark is on another level, truly. Here's the IFC Theater. Famous theater here, our house theater. Haven't been here in a while though. So there's a really cool secret here at this theater, which I learned from a guy on TikTok called Norberto. If you go right over here and you open up these little frames, which I'm not gonna touch my eyes to them, but if you look through them, I gotta put one at right here. This was installed by the original owner. I gotta wash my hands after this. But you can actually see the movie that's playing right now. I would recommend against putting your eyes towards here, but yeah, you can see the movie. It looks blurry because of the camera that I'm using, but yep, it's in full focus. A movie is playing. I see subtitles. Subtitles says, Fatima, will you put the trash out? Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, do not put your eyes on it. I gotta wash my hands now. But it's a cool little secret. It's a really cool secret. I wish I wouldn't have to be afraid of pink eye, because that's like the awesome secret. Oh, I gotta wash my hands. Gotta find like a vat of cleaning fluid, of hand sanitizer. All right, someone was playing reggaeton. Got a wipe. I'm gonna show you this way. I think this way is cool. Wow, look at the sky. Joe says the pink Ariel does for us. Yep, risk pink eye. I won't get it. Because I have an immune system of steel, but yeah, don't put your eyes on it. It's such a cool secret, but yeah, don't put your eyes on it. And wash your hands after touching it. Here's a great place to get a Pokeball if you're looking for nice casual food. It's one of the many places in New York City. Now these broadcasts are sponsored by me right here. This link, if you're looking to travel soon and looking for a great hotel, go to this link, book.justwander.com/@ArielRiviera. Click on the link when it pops up in the comments, and there you can get anywhere between 15% to 70% off. We have a fellow super urbanist who tuned in, reached out to me and told me that she found out that one of the favorite hotels that she loves to stay at was $800 cheaper than what she's used to. So that was an incredible deal. Sometimes you'll find deals that big using this link. I got the hookup with a cool company called Just Wander, and I get a percentage, a commission based on every booking. So it works for you if you want to get really inexpensive hotels, and you do book with the hotel. You're not booking through some weird booking site. You have to sign up, of course, for the website, to get the prices, but otherwise the books are through the hotel. So if you ever do have to cancel, you'll get the hotel's cancellation policy. So book through there. Works for you and works for me as well. And let's continue walking around. Wendy says, why is it cheaper? So in essence, when big corporations get hotels for events or for huge conferences, they get a good discounted rate. I have access to those rates. So this is a dilemma. I have two favorite coffee shops here. I like this one. This is a classic New York City coffee shop called Amano. Really classic, good cold brew, great pumpkin bread. But right across the street, there's one of my favorite Italian style coffee shops called Coppola Cafe. Two great coffee shops right next to each other. I just love them. Dumb question, but why is NY called the Big Apple? Says Frost. Frost, this is not a dumb question at all. This is an excellent question. Bear with me. So, more people playing hip hop. More people playing hip hop. In essence, the Big Apple comes from a race at the Belmont racetracks near New York City. Technically, it's on the outside the border of New York City, but it's right in Queens, right outside the border in Elmont, Long Island. And there's one of the three biggest horse races in the entire U.S. It's called the Triple Crown. The other one is the Kentucky Derby. Let me know the third one. So if you win the one here in New York City, in the Belmont racetracks, when the horse wins, they give the horse a gigantic apple that bites, and then they snap a photo. And it caught on when they put on the newspapers. They were like, so-and-so horse wins again, the Big Apple. And it kind of just translated into the nickname for New York City after that. It just caught on somehow. So yeah, that's the general story of the Big Apple. Wow, we have a huge super chat. $15 super chat. Says Melissa, happy Friday. Thank you for the live stream. Stay warm. Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the kind super chat. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. I'm so glad you're enjoying all these live videos. Thank you so much, Melissa. Round of hearts to Melissa. Justine says, that's a cool story. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed that story. Keith says, isn't there some dispute with the origins of the Big Apple name? There always is, but there's plenty of evidence pointing to that horse race, because there's a lot of photos of horses with big apples in their mouths. And the headline in the newspaper says, horse wins the Big Apple. So, yeah. Just like any nickname or slang, sometimes it might be a mixture of different origins. Sometimes it's an evolution. So you can never 100% tell with any of these stories. Eesh. They're not letting the cars pass. That's a shame. Cynthia says, I thought it was called the Big Apple because of diversity. No, more the diversity is more called the melting pot. Sometimes people call it. And right here is one of my favorite pizzas, Two Boots Pizza. I love these guys. Love them. Kay says the gentle sounds of New York City sirens. Oh yes, love these guys. Two Boots Pizza. All right, let's grab one final slice here for the final stop of this tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's grab a Two Boots, see how it is. I love this pizzeria, and that ties into my top recommendation for a New York City show this Christmas. Watch Dash and Lily on Netflix. I just watched it for a second time recently, and oh my god, it's so good. I just love that show. It's filled with so much heart. It takes place in New York City. Shows places in New York City that I grew up with, because if you watch older New York movies, they tend to cover a New York that was my parents' generation or the generation before me. But there's not that many movies that cover my generation, and it's nice to see a TV series like Dash and Lily. So let's go inside. Hey George, nice to see you. Hey, I'll grab the bird, please, with the garlic knot, and I'll also have a hummus. Sorry. All right, welcome everyone to Two Boots, one of my favorite pizzerias here. Flying Squirrel says this is a colorful pizza place. It truly is. I had gone the Newman's this morning. The Newman's seemed very tempting. My favorite is the Buckminster, which is the closest to a margarita here. And the cool thing is they make their pizza bread with corn flour, which is really good. So right now is another thing you should learn about street smarts. A gentleman came right towards me very fast, asking for $1. You are by no means ever obligated to give some money. Never. Never. Okay? Because especially if you're rushed like that, there's no place, especially inside a location like this, nowhere. So be sure, always give a firm no, because you're never obligated. Nahi says, what happened to Two Boots in Grand Central? I think Two Boots in Grand Central closed. Did they have one in Grand Central? I don't remember the Grand Central location. I remember there's the original one, which is located in the East Village, and there's one in Williamsburg, and there's one in Jersey City on Grove Street. So there's a few, which is great. Nabu says, why he asked for money? It's just normal. There's a lot of people who ask for money here in New York City. Ron, Flying Squirrel says, hope he doesn't bother you. No, he won't. The guy just left. It happens, unfortunately. It happens in many parts of the world, but yeah, it does happen in New York. Tienes una apariencia afidecasta. Manny, yo no creo que es una apariencia tan buena. No, puede ser por la camisa verde. So Manny says I kind of look like Fidel Castro. I wouldn't want that appearance, but I get it because of the beard and the shirt. Yeah, unfortunately. What if I give you exact change? And they're just like, no. Ariel says, not feeling the garlic knots? I am feeling the garlic knots. I ordered one. Have you ever been here before? Says Joe. Many times. I've shown you on video, maybe like 2 or 3 times. I'm gonna go back there. Do you travel to Long Island? Says Nicole. Not too much. Not too much. I like some parts of Long Island. Not too many, but I like some parts. Long Island requires a car to really enjoy it. I'm not a fan too much of driving. That's fine. Yeah, whatever. I'll give you $12 instead of. And am I running out of battery on my gimbal? So right now, I recently upgraded to the DJI Osmo Mobile, and the gimbal runs out of battery very quickly. So Nabu says, what Osmo you got? I got the Osmo Mobile 6. And unfortunately it runs out of battery so quickly. So Susie says, and we're off. Yeah, so I have one pet peeve. I hate it when people sit across from me and then they're sitting facing me. So that's what happened, unfortunately. Let me know if you have the same pet peeve. I do not like that whatsoever. I've never really been a fan, especially if the place is empty. It's not really, I don't like it. So let me know if that's happened to you, where you sit down and someone sits down on the next booth facing you. Frost says, I'm in St. Petersburg. Yes, I'm so glad. That's good to hear. And Clara, yes, indeed, Clara. All right, so let me show you the slice. So right here, I have a buffalo chicken pizza, and I have a classic garlic knots. You can buy them on their own as well. So let's try it out. How much for a slice? This costs $10 in total with Halls, which is seltzer water from New York, classic seltzer, but super strong. The bubbliest seltzer you'll ever try. They're not bubbles, they're bombs. Little carbonated bombs, basically. Really strong. All right, let's try this out. Has a spicy kick to it. I usually don't get buffalo chicken, so this is interesting for me, but it's very spicy. If you like spiciness, you'll like this one. Ooh, not my favorite. I don't like spiciness. But it's a very well done spicy pizza. Great cheese, but I love their crust. Ooh, their crust is amazing. Their crust is made with corn flour. It just has a nice crunch to it. It's different from other pizzas that you'll have here in New York City because they say they have like a New Orleans twist to it. Really good. And someone asked, is this mint water? No, this has no mint. It's flavorless. It's just regular seltzer, which means carbonated water. Esfiel says, not charred. It looks light. It is light, yes. Susie says, I just had toast an hour ago. The sound is magic, says Manny. It truly is. Oh, yes. Ooh, this is a great crispy slice. Great blue cheese too, and nice scallions to add that little bit of freshness. Oh wow. Good chicken. The chicken is nice and juicy. Wow, but spicy. All right. Oh no. My gimbal ran out of battery. This gimbal sucks. Why do they make a worse gimbal? Gimbals used to last for 6-7 hours. Nebu says, have you used the other features in the gimbal? No. I'm just using the gimbal as normal. This is the DJI Osmo Mobile 6. It's the newest one to come out, and the battery just died on me, which sucks. I used to do live streams for 6 hours with the older gimbals. No problem. All right, let's try this out. The garlic naan. So this is a typical New York City treat you'll find. It is a buttery, doughy piece of bread smothered in garlic and basil. Oh, nothing can beat it. Wow. Nice and soft, very buttery, so you do have to wash your hands afterwards. And ooh, that is great. Great. These are addictive too. You can easily order a few. Is it warm? Yeah, they warm it up for you. You can have it as warm as you want. If you want it boiling, you can ask for that. Some people do. If you don't want it too warm, then you can ask for that too. If you want to take it to go and you're staying in an Airbnb with the oven, then you can, don't ask for them to warm it up, you'll warm it up at home. Hey, Anajota says, your appearance today reminds me of your Jollibee videos. Time for a reshoot? Anajota says, yeah, maybe I'll cover the new Jollibee. Pizza is incomplete with garlic knots, in your opinion, says Susie. Do you say the name is Two Boots Pizza? It is Two Boots Pizza. They're all around New York. There's 4 of them in the New York City area. 2 in Manhattan, in this area, Lower Manhattan. 1 in Jersey City, and 1 in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And Claire says, I like that you're growing a beard. Very handsome. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We tried finding bubbly water in the US in general, and there's no bubbly water like the one we have in Germany. This is Peter. Yeah, you know, sparkling water here in the US generally sucks. We don't have too much of a variety. This is not mineral water whatsoever. So yeah, this is not quite the same that you'll find in Germany. It's good because it's super bubbly, and you won't find any natural sparkling waters as bubbly as this. So that's the unique experience of a Halls. which is a New York City company. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to get my guide right now, write !guide, and you'll get access to my New York City guide, the essentials of New York City. If you want to know the best observation deck to visit, the best food places in many of those iconic neighborhoods that you go to in Manhattan, the best 5 museums that you should go to. 2 of them are very famous, the other 3 are not so well known, that people usually don't include them in their own guidebooks. And if you want access to the best neighborhoods to visit outside of Manhattan, you can download my guide right now, the Must Visit New York City Travel Guide, the Essentials to New York City Travel. And there you'll get access to it. Right now I have a special pre-order price because there's still a few finishing touches to be made. I went all out with my guide. I saw many of the other guides that are available for New York. None of them are as in-depth as mine. So I decided to go all out. So you're getting a special pre-order price of $29.99. Everything is written out, but there's still more places to be added and also more audio portions to be added as well. And Susie says, is it a hard copy? No, this is online using an app called Thatch. And this app is very useful because you'll have maps integrated into the guide and the audio portions as well. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Stay tuned Fridays and Saturdays at 4 p.m. and there'll be a special Q&A about the guide coming soon. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day everyone. Bye-bye.